The United States has been inching closer and closer to a plutocratic dictatorship, and this election is going to be one of the most important elections in recent memory. And before anybody accuses me of just spouting out buzzwords, I'll explain exactly what I mean. When I say plutocratic dictatorship, I'm talking about this oligarchy of Democrat elites, the wealthy, the financiers, the people behind the scenes controlling things, the powers that be that have control over the media, that are trying to force control over social media, to some extent have control over courts, have control over DAs. Not a single leader, not a single dictator leader in the traditional sense of a dictator, but this group of individuals, this group of elites. They push social pressure, they hold financial power, they hold regulatory power behind the scenes. And if Kamala Harris is elected, she's simply going to be an empty suit doing the bidding of these people. We have to get out and vote. With that being said, we're going to look at some polls for the final time before the big day tomorrow, just to see where we stand. Overall, it's looking good for Trump, but I'm kind of pessimistic, especially looking at what happened in 2020 with C-19, with the recounts, with all of the shenanigans going on, with all of the funny business, all the interference, all of the cheating going on. Remember, we couldn't even say cheating back in 2020 because YouTube will ban your account, which was an early sign of the oligarchy, these elite, these dictator wannabes trying to take control of America. But let's look at this first poll right here. This is Atlas Intel. This polling organization here has been the most accurate. It was the most accurate polling organization, having the most accurate pollsters from 2016 and 2020. They have been nonpartisan and extremely reliable. So let's take a look. They have Trump ahead in all 7 swing states. They have Trump blowing this thing out. If this right here holds, because we have a few other polls also showing similar things to that, but if this holds, it's going to be a short night without any shenanigans. Like I said, we're going to have to see Trump give a victory speech late tomorrow evening. Let's take a closer look. Arizona, which was filled with funny business back in 2020, Trump is up 6.5. This is getting to the point where it's not even a swing state anymore because it's pushing so far into Trump's favor. Phoenix, Maricopa County, all the illegal immigrants voting, and the Anchor Baby was voting too, down there in Arizona. Even with all of that crap that the Democrats have pushed, it's still looking good for Trump. And the early voting count in Arizona, in the Phoenix area, is looking really good for the Republicans in general, not so good for Kamala and the Democrats. Some of them I'm kind of worried about. I look at Nevada, for example. Nevada was overestimated back in 2016. Nevada got some problems, but when we look at the map, I'll talk about that. When we get to these blue wall states, it's so tight, it's so hard to predict. All of them are within 2 points. Now let's go over here to this New York Times, and we know New York Times is a Democrat organization, even though they claim they're not. But let's just look at these polls. Pennsylvania, the most important state of all 50, tied 48-48. North Carolina, I don't think Kamala has much of a shot in North Carolina. In fact, she's actually pulling resources, pulled a lot of money, pulled a lot of ad spending out of North Carolina. It kind of waved a white flag on that. So even though New York Times is saying Trump is up 1 point, I think the internal polling from both parties, whatever they're looking at, is showing that the margin is probably much wider than that because they basically conceded North Carolina to Trump at this point. Michigan, it gets really tricky. Again, Nevada, all of this stuff is just so tight, except for Arizona. Trump is kind of breaking out of the margin of error over here, which kind of lines up with Atlas Intel. Now let's look at one more poll. Real Clear Politics. Again, we're going back to this blue wall. It's showing that Kamala is up slightly, barely, but it's still virtually tied. In Wisconsin and Michigan, she really needs that Pennsylvania state. Trump is up 0.3. I mean, these points don't really matter. If you're under 3, you can just say it's tied. So even though all of these are showing that Trump is up, it's virtually tied on every swing state, even though Trump is up slightly within the margin of error. Now let's look at this election map here. We're going to do one final election map prediction and hope for the best tomorrow. Hope these polls are somewhat accurate. Hope Atlas Intel is as accurate as it was back in 2016, back in 2020. Now, I think Trump's upper limit is 316. If he wins all of the swing states and maybe flip New Hampshire, which traditionally was a swing state, but it's kind of tight right now, but leaning Kamala's way, so it's not considered a swing state this cycle. But if he can squeeze that one out, surprise us with that, he could win 316 electoral college votes. Now, if Kamala wins all those swing states except North Carolina, because I don't think she has much of a chance in North Carolina, I think her upper limit is 303 votes. Now, breaking 300 might be good for the ego, might be good for the down ballot races because it'll help you pull in more senators and House reps. But all you need is 270 to win. So let's take a look at the easiest pathways to victory for both sides. All Kamala has to do to get 270 is to hold the blue wall. Now, Ohio used to be part of the blue wall, but no longer. The Democrats have disenfranchised the state so much that it's completely Republican now, and they have no shot of winning it. So we got Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Look at this right here, 270. If she holds this blue wall, the magical blue wall, she gets exactly what she needs. So no matter what Trump does in the Southeast and West Coast states, it doesn't matter. If she can hold these three, she wins. So Trump is going to have to break the blue wall in order to win this. And the blue wall, all three of these states are extremely tight. We just looked at these polls. Either one of them can flip. Michigan might flip. Kamala has disenfranchised, pissed off a lot of Muslims up there with Gaza, the Palestinians being carpet bombed, Gaza being turned into a parking lot over there. A lot of them are completely disenfranchised. And the people in the rural areas, a lot of people in all of these states, they've lost their jobs. Housing has gone up. Food is so expensive. So a lot of these people are just completely done with the Democrat Party. And because of that, it's possible that either one of these could flip. I believe that Trump is going for Pennsylvania. He's looking for an early victory. And the reason why is because let's look at Trump's easiest pathway to victory. Trump needs to take Pennsylvania, and he can take North Carolina and Georgia. East Coast states, early night victory because the polls close earliest, obviously on the East Coast because of time zones. So if we can get these states to announce early on, and we know Pennsylvania was filled with shenanigans, but if we can get these states to announce early on that Trump won out of 3 on the East Coast, that's a wrap, 270. So Kamala can win the rest, and it won't even matter. Now let's look at a crazy scenario. Actually, 2 crazy scenarios. Let's say that Kamala did take the blue wall. It's just a crazy scenario that is possible. But unlikely to happen, but possible. So let's not be surprised by it. But let's say Kamala took the blue wall, Trump took North Carolina and Georgia, and he also took Arizona and Nevada. But this district over here, this Omaha area, the Omaha district, which you can see Nebraska splits his vote. So the Omaha vote is looking to go to Kamala. But let's say Trump can take that. Now look at us. 269 to 269. We are at a tie. And what happens there is it goes to the House of Representatives. And it's a crazy scenario. It gets really complex. So I will have to do an entirely separate video on what exactly happens in the event of a tie. If there is a tie, I will break down in depth exactly how it works. And there's another possibility of a tie too. Let's say Trump takes Pennsylvania and Georgia and Michigan. And let's give Kamala the rest. And let's give that district back to Kamala. Also, in this case, so the swing states, Trump gets Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Michigan. Now, this is more likely than the Omaha one because Kamala is up 12 points in the polls in Omaha. But if they split these 7 swing states this way, Trump gets Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Michigan. Kamala gets North Carolina, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Nevada. Another 269 tie. And I think this one can definitely happen. So let's not be surprised if we do to see this. It goes to the House of Representatives. And like I said, that's a complex scenario. Not really complex, but it requires a lot of breaking down and explaining. So I will have to do a separate video on that. But let me give you my prediction, what I believe is actually going to happen on election night. I got Trump winning Georgia, taking Georgia back. She barely won Georgia, and Trump asked questions about it. And all of a sudden, he's in a RICO case. But that's a different video, too. North Carolina goes to Trump. Arizona goes to Trump. Nevada, the problem with Nevada is they have way too many Democrats because California has been bleeding people because California is a shithole and extremely expensive. spending $1 million on a raggedy ass 1970s roach field, bars on the window, drugged up neighborhood, 800 square foot house. So the people in California are getting the hell out of Dodge, and their number one destination is Las Vegas. Las Vegas has been getting infiltrated. Las Vegas is turning into part of California. And because of that, Nevada is blue as hell. Extremely blue. That's why I think it's been 20 years since a Republican won Nevada, but yet it's still classified as a swing state. But so many Californians with their left-wing California virus moving to other states, spreading their policies, they turned Nevada blue. So even though the polls are saying that Trump is up, I'm not going to believe it until I see it. This is what happened to Colorado years ago. Over time, all these people from California kept moving in. They're doing it to Arizona too, even though illegal immigrants have a lot to do with all of these states as well. The combination of illegal immigrants and the California virus is turning Nevada and Arizona blue. And Nevada is pretty much blue at this point. They're going to have to show me something different. Colorado, California virus hit them, and they're spreading to Texas too. As you can see, Texas is not solid red. Texas is on the verge of becoming a swing state. But one of these states, I think, Wisconsin, these are tough right here. Pennsylvania could be filled with some shenanigans. The Sun Belt will be split. Nevada will go to Kamala, Arizona Trump, Georgia Trump, North Carolina Trump. Between these three states, which of these states is the most likely to go to Trump? And I believe the most likely state will probably be Michigan because of the disenfranchisement, the whole Palestine thing. All of these people hate the Democrat Party. Jill Stein is going to pull a lot of support up there. The third party candidate is going to pull a lot of support, a lot of votes away from Kamala Harris. Pennsylvania could easily go to Trump, but I think something's going to happen. There's some type of shenanigans. They're going to be in the middle of the night pulling out hundreds of thousands of votes for Kamala Harris. People mail-in ballot. And that mail-in ballot thing is complete bullshit, I believe. Especially in 2020, I was like, these people don't even know how to mail, man. We're in the computer age, the cell phone age. Nobody goes to the goddamn post office to mail stuff, especially letters. Maybe a package. You drop off a UPS package or something. People under 30 years old don't even know how to fill out the damn envelope on the front. Where to write sender, return sender, all that crap. They don't know how to do that. Nobody mails stuff anymore. Yet all of a sudden, 600,000 votes for Joe Biden, 2 o'clock in the morning, out of nowhere. Yeah, right. They are so full of it, man. That's why we need in-person voting only with ID. But that's a different video too. I'm getting on a tangent. So let's just say they pull some shenanigans, man. They're going to pull some shenanigans, and Kamala's going to eke out Pennsylvania. But she's going to lose one of these swing states. And either one of them could go. So I got Trump at 277 right now. It could easily change, but these swing states are so tight. And Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, they all have their own scenarios on how they could go either way. But right now, I'm going to say Michigan because of the disenfranchisement and the surge of independent voters and people sitting out and the surge for Donald Trump. Even though they tried to pull that crap on him about him calling out Detroit being a crappy-ass city, which it is, but they tried to make it look like he was disparaging the people. But that's just be it for votes. So right now, yeah, that's what we're looking at. Kamala 261, Trump 277. This is a very tight race, very important race. Get out to vote. If you haven't been out there to vote yet, vote. Because the Democrat Party, the powers that be, the elite, they are trying to push a plutocratic dictatorship on us. They're going to use fascism. They're going to use regulatory power. They're going to use courts. They're going to use the mainstream media for propaganda, for manipulation. They're going to use social media to censor people. They're infiltrating our schools, the universities down to elementary schools, manipulating children to be pro-Democrat, to hate Trump. These people have tried to assassinate their opposition. They're murderers. They are cold-blooded murderers. Multiple times tried to assassinate Trump, and I don't believe they're done yet. These people are evil. And the only thing that they're running on, I live in a swing state, and all of the commercials for Trump and the Democrat senators that I see, abortion, 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 Trump bad, Trump mean, Trump evil. That's all they got. They have nothing for inflation. They have nothing for the economy at all. They have nothing for peace. They have nothing to stop World War III. All they got is let's kill babies. Trump evil. So get out there and vote, and let's make this 277 or even more a real thing.